No one is as underappreciated as the step parent, the stepfather. How do I know? I'm not one, but I have one. And this question comes from my buddy Jake. Now, Jake wants to know, in my past marriage, I've got kids, and the way that I parented there versus the way that I parent here in this new marriage with my stepkids, this is very challenging. This is a whole book by itself. So I know, Jake, you're not expecting me to answer, or write a book on this. I'm not the authority. Let me just, again, share a perspective and experience of my own to you. And I encourage all stepdads that listen to this video, please reply. Send a message so that you can help Jake. So here's my perspective, my experience. And I'll start with 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was at a camp with my son. And while I was there, I interviewed over 50 men at this camp. They were all fathers. I took pages and pages of notes. And I asked them all one question: what was your biggest struggle of being, of fatherhood? A lot of them had kids that were already grown, and so they had time to reflect. Now I had some great answers. That'll become, who knows, a podcast, a book, something in the future, something I had to do to work on in the future. There was this one dad really impacted me, really hit me hard in the heart. His name was Chris. Chris said to me, the biggest struggle is that I'm a stepdad, and no matter how much I be a father to my stepson, his real dad's not in the picture. No matter how much I pour into him, connect with him, be his father, he still calls me Chris. He still thinks of me like a friend. I'm treating him like a son. Here it is. I'm treating him like a son. He's treating me like a stepdad or a friend. And that really hurts him because he just wants to be called dad. And I was like, oh my gosh, Chris, you just hit me hard. I still call my stepfather Paul. And he says, has he earned the right to be called dad? I said, yeah, he's been incredible to me. Why don't you start calling him dad? The next day I got home from camp, I called up Paul. And I said, Paul, this might shock you, but no longer am I going to call you Paul. And I've been calling him Paul since I was about 6. Okay? I said, I'm going to start calling you dad. Here's why. Because you've been my father. Yes, I have a biological father and I love him. He's awesome. But you've been my father too. Therefore, you deserve the title of dad. I'm going to start calling you dad. My kids are going to call you Pop-Pop. They're not going to call you Pop Paul, which is what we've been doing. They're going to call you Pop-Pop. My wife's going to call you dad because you've earned that. So now I want to go and share two tips for stepdads. And this is from my own perspective. Number one, in your past relationship, with your ex-wife and those children, best thing, my parents modeled this incredibly. It's hard to stay friends. That might not be possible with your ex-wife. But for the benefit of the kids, do not talk smack and talk badly of the other parent. Okay? Try and come up with a parenting plan between you and your ex-wife, if at all possible, that you can still have a unified game plan for the benefit of that child. My mom never talked bad about my dad. My dad never about my mom. I know they maybe wanted to, but they didn't. They remained cordial all the years. And because of that, I had a nice transition from one house to the other. I never brought, dirt from my dad back to my mom and vice versa. I could just be me. I could just be a kid. I knew that both my mom and my dad loved me. I just had to go to different houses to experience it. So I would say that's the first tip. Be cordial and find a way to be unified as parents, even if you hate each other, just, honey, whatever, if her name is Jen, for the benefit of our son, for the benefit of our daughter, let's just have a unified parenting style, okay? Boom. That's number two. That was one. Number two is for your current relationship with your current stepkids, Jake, just like Paul did for me. he never tried to, you know, usurp my father. He never tried to become king, to become my dad. He just poured into me, connected with me. We did stuff together. I did some cool stuff with my stepdad. I mean, he took me skiing. We played ping pong. We were goofy. We'd have a catch with a football. He helped teach me how to drive. I mean, he did amazing stuff with me. He connected with me. He became my friend. He earned my trust. He earned my respect. It didn't take a week. It didn't take a month. It took years. And it took me years until I came to the point where I said, Dad, and I love you, Dad. So, Jake, the good news is that you have a tremendous opportunity to influence your stepkids, but you may not feel the appreciation of that until the stepkids are in their 30s and 40s. Like I finally acknowledged my stepdad just recently. So no longer is he Paul, he's Dad.